All right, let's try this again. Hi there, my name is Gabriel Abshire, and my book review presentation is over Children of the State by Jeff Hobbs. Now, Children of the State is not an anthology, but it might be an anthology. Anyway, it tells a bunch of different stories, specifically three different stories. I'd say three main different stories, and these stories are broken up into three different parts: residence, education, and exile. Now, residence follows Josiah Wright in the Ferris Detention Center in Delaware. Now, this isn't the first time Josiah Wright has been in the juvenile justice system. This is the second time actually, but he was readmitted because he violated his parole. Now, the story begins with Josiah Wright depicted as a hard worker almost. He works his way out of Ferris Detention Center, is what I'm trying to say. He has good grades and he graduates from it. Now, once he gets home, his drive disappears. He is brought home to his very how to put this nicely, apathetic family. Apathetic. They His mother could care less. She says she cares, but she's fooling me. Uh, it kind of it doesn't kind of it drains Josiah's spirit because he realizes he hates his home, and the only reason he stays is because of the nostalgia that comes with his home. Now, later on in the story, Josiah is back up. The counselors from Ferris and the teachers are all reaching out to him, trying to get him to go to this college and to attend and to better his life. And like this is the first step for that, right? However, he does not want to do that. He claimed it's too cold to get on the bus, is what he said. But it's just an excuse to not, to not go to college. Eventually, for Josiah, right? He grows up sounds mean, but in more literal sense, grows up, and he has a job now, working at an IKEA or something. His life is much better. He has roommates. He's moved out. His life is much better, and that's honestly that his life is much better, which is great for Josiah. Now, moving on. The second part of the book, education, follows a plethora of different characters, including Megan, who is a teacher at Woodside Learning Center in San Francisco, and Chris, the principal. Now, this is my favorite part of the book, mainly because this part of the book is so much different from any other part of this book. It's almost like it's a whole nother book entirely. It's almost like someone else was writing it because it branches off to like four other different characters. It bounces around between a bunch of different people, and I really like that. It gives a setting of what's going on inside, like around Woodside, and it's really really good. Now, Woodside in itself is a very depressing place. There's not a lot of hope there at all, if any, really. And this portion of the book focuses on Megan and Chris's response to that and their development through that. Now, the last part, Exile, follows Ian Alvaro. I'm saying that right. At New York, at the Essex County Juvenile Detention Center. Ian was accused of not accused. He assaulted someone very very plainly. Got into a fight, won the fight to his detriment, and the kid who he attacked was sent to the hospital for a number of serious injuries. Anyway, he was accused of a hate crime. I don't think it was a hate crime. I think it was just angry. I don't. Outside the point. That's outside the point. It follows Ian as he gets thrown into Essex County, and his getting out and reuniting with his family. Unlike Woodside, this is probably the most hope this book I've ever read in this book. He eventually makes his way out, and he gets reunited with his father, and he joins Exalt Youth, which is a program that helps 15 to 19 year olds in the justice system, and to help them out while they're in the justice system and when they get out of the justice system. And yeah, that's basically a short summary of that portion of the book. Now, key themes of the book. The the book has a lot of themes in it, a lot of things you could pick. I chose three, that them being redemption, adversity, and hope. I was gonna put futility, but I'm not gonna do that. That was kind of only part two. Part two was really depressing. Part one was also depressing too, but part two was something. Redemption can be seen throughout the entirety of this book, with every major character. Sounds bad, especially considering it's based off of real events, but character that is focused on Megan, Chris especially, really. Um, Josiah, he gets a job. Ian, he goes from attacking others to helping others. It's really good. The next theme is adversity. All of these characters face some sort of adversity, some more self-inflicted than others, like Josiah, and while others is sort of uh, it comes with a job. Like Megan and Chris, they are facing lack of funds, if my memory is correct, but that comes with what their job is. Their job is so. The book really hammers in how different Megan and Chris's job is compared to other teachers. And finally, the last uh, important key theme in this book is hope. More so in three and two than in part one. Part one didn't really have a lot of Josiah. Let me describe. Josiah didn't have a lot of hope. Josiah didn't have a lot of outside of Ferris. He didn't have a lot of hope. In Ferris, he was very goal oriented, but outside of Ferris, he didn't really have a lot of hope. Chris and Megan, all they had were hope. Like that's it, really. That's all they ever had, to hope for better. Yeah, that's those three themes. Finally, a personal reflection of the book. Now, this book is the first book of this genre I've read in sort of real world, uncomfortable sort of like genre. You know what I'm talking about. I've never read a book like this before. I don't know if I'm going to read another book like this. This was really, really depressing and difficult to read, if I'm being honest. But there were some good things about it. Seeing Josiah grow up, seeing Ian help others, seeing Megan and Chris especially, um, not get what he wants, but it's just the kids getting better, Woodside getting better. It's stuff like that. It's really really heartwarming, really nice. A good book overall. Um, am I going to read it again? Probably not. But it's a good book overall. I think I really like it. I would recommend it. It's definitely an eye opener to what the juvenile justice system is really like. I assume that prior to reading this book and this class, that it was not as depressing. I'd say I imagine it'd be full of hope because they're kids. They have their whole lives in front of them, but apparently that is not the case. But yeah, that's Children of the State by Jeff Hobbs.